I am at the Catholic Cemetery behind the fairgrounds. Why do I mention behind the fairgrounds? If you hang on to this story, you'll find out. 7 years old. She was only 7 years old. Jessica Michelle Ray died in 1991 at only 7 years old, a sweet little girl. Her and a little girl named Jamie were best friends, and they did everything together. I'm gonna clean this up. The parents gave me permission to do this. This is the first video I've ever done where I have intimate knowledge of what happened. I talked to the parents, and they told me what had happened to their little girl and what a sweet angel she was. And it's a very tragic story, but yet it's heartwarming. But first thing I'm gonna do is get busy cleaning this, and then I'll return. So what you just seen was me washing up Miss Jessica's tombstone. And I just want to, this ain't about that. I'm just going to make this real quick because people make mistakes. For one thing, you got to be careful what kind of brush you use. This right here is a good brush to use, okay? It's not plastic. It's not any other materials. It's a natural material, okay? So that's one thing. Another thing is, try to get them with where the bristles are kind of short, because if not, when you go like this, you're going to get all over you. It'll splash all over you. Second thing, no bleach. Never, never, never use bleach. It destroys the integrity of the stone, and what'll happen is it'll age quicker. Now, it may look real good when you're done, but it'll age quicker. It won't last as long. The integrity of the stone will be destroyed. Two different products that are recommended for tombstones. I use Wet It and Forget It. So typically what I do is I use water, scrub it, rinse it, make sure there's still plenty of water all the time. Then when it dries, because the instructions on this Wet It and Forget It say when it's dry, which is usually the next day is when I do it, come by and spray it real good, walk away, let Mother Nature take care of the rest. Let the rain, the wind, and the sunshine act on this. This is looking far better now than it did just 3 or 4 days ago when I shot the video that you've seen. So now we're gonna get on with the video. This reads Jessica Michelle, May 27th, 1984 to October 3rd, 1991. See the little puppy? The child shall lead. God needed another rosebud in his garden, so fair, so that Thursday he said, Jessica, I need you up here. She was a happy, radiant, and beautiful child. Even though she suffered, she always wore a smile. The testimony she has always shown has touched so many lives, the number will never be known. We grieve and are sad at this great loss, but we accept the will of the one who died on the cross. Her years on the earth were only numbered 7, but thank God there is no end to time in heaven. And it's going to come up a little bit later in the video, but this is the picture that she drew the week that she passed away. It's etched in this tombstone. I was in touch with Jessica's parents, and I'm actually going to read to you. And I normally don't read. I normally do point by point and try to make it a little more spontaneous, but I don't want to miss anything. First off, they have a video YouTube channel called Meant to Be RVing. And I'm going to post a link to that below, and you can go and look at their adventures. Last year, they traveled across the country. They put out some really good videos. So I am going to promote them on my video here. Her mama told me she had what's called Epstein anomaly. And what this is, it's a tricuspid valve. The valve between the upper right chamber, the right atrium, and the lower right chamber, the right ventricle, of the heart isn't formed properly. She was also born with 2 holes in her atrium. The 2 holes in her atrium saved her life at birth. Most babies born with this defect don't live very long. And those that do live a life so tired and weak they can't do normal things like the other kids can. Jessica was the exception. She was able to do anything that the other children could do. She was on a list to have open heart surgery for many years. and they said she needed to have it done before she was 10. So she went to the Mayo Clinic at age 7 in June of 1991 for a heart valve transplant with other kids around the world who had near the same condition. Once she returned, she seemed to be doing so good. She came off her medications, returned to full activity at school. However, there's always a however, on the day she passed, she fell on her chest at school on a playground. This caused her injury that made her pass away. They did everything they could to save her, and they were just unable to. Now, her mama said to know Jessica was to know an angel on earth. God literally gave her a big heart that even in her illness, she loved and cared for others before herself. Even in the days before she passed, she knew and prepared us. She knew she was going to be behind the fairgrounds. Remember I mentioned the fairgrounds earlier? The week she passed, her class was given an assignment to draw a picture illustrating a silent E. In that sketch I showed you was the picture she drew for class illustrating the silent E for the word heaven. Now, 2 days before she passed, she told her teacher that she's moving to the fairgrounds. When the teacher inquired, the mom said, no, we're not moving. We're not moving. But she did. Because here we are in the Catholic cemetery behind the fairgrounds. Her mama further went on to state, and this is just, it'll get you in your heart. Even though you can't prepare for things like this, God does provide. I am one of the lucky ones that God has granted peace in my heart, and I thank Him for the days that I had. Even though she was my child, I am the one who grew from her teaching.